The makeup barely conceals just how tired he is.
I'll be in London later tonight.
Oh, my goodness.
Instead of making movies, Denis Arcand is busy selling one.
So you have a very nice interview.
Thank you, ma'am.
He hasn't stopped since his film, The Barbarian Invasions, was nominated for 2 Oscars.
Now, my father was a Marine officer, and he despised filmmaking. And he didn't care for filmmakers.
Didn't like movies?
Didn't like movies at all. To him, art was opera and the concert hall. Yes. And movies were cheap entertainment for the masses.
Right.
So if you become a filmmaker, to be the son of such a man, you will never get any form of admiration ever. I could have been Orson Welles. I could have been Eisenstein. He didn't care. The Oscars are a popularity contest. That's something you work at. It's like being elected mayor of a small town. You've got 7,000 constituents, and you have to kiss babies and and compliment people on their dogs and stuff like that in order to win. So we'll see.
It all started just a month ago.
For Best Original Screenplay, the nominees are Denis Arcand for The Barbarian Invasions. For Best Foreign Language Film, we have The Barbarian Invasions, Canada.
The odds are on The Barbarian Invasions to pick up Best Foreign Language Film. The stakes are high for Arcand and his investors, his distributors, and the Canadian film industry. Everyone stands to win big. At his residence in Los Angeles, Canada's Consul General Colin Robertson is doing his part for The Barbarian Invasions. His job is to promote Canadian trade and investment in California. Robertson knows if Arcand wins an Oscar, there's a payoff for Canada.
The Oscars, I compare them to the Olympics. And you remember in the Salt Lake City Olympics when Salé and Pelletier finally came through and got the gold. I mean, they'd captured the hearts of the world. And so we're here, and we're going to make sure we push it. And we push it fairly aggressively, in a forthright fashion, I say, which is not always typically Canadian, because we tend to be perhaps slightly more reserved. But, you know, when in Hollywood, play by Hollywood rules.
Roz Wolfe knows the rules of the game. Wolfe is the consulate's expert on cultural affairs. She wrote the book when it comes to Oscar promotion.
We're working on the Oscar reception. I just want to know if you have the entire list by now. We'll need enough staff for 50 cars. Thanks. This is the Oscar town. This is the town that is really devoted to the Oscars, and it's all about the Oscars in LA. The entertainment industry is the largest employer in California, and as a result, there's so many people that are either employed or know people employed or have friends or in the industry themselves. And everybody's excited about it. People are excited about the nominations. Everybody has an idea about who should win. Francel. Yeah. This poster for Denis Arcand's film, we need to get 2 more. So
Wolfe is the mastermind behind Operation Oscar. Event organizer, party planner, campaign manager. To celebrate the 7 Canadians up for Oscars this year, she's throwing a poolside party for nominees and 100 of their closest friends and family.
As soon as we heard that Denis Arcand's film was nominated, we went into full force mode to do what we could to help it.
Norman Jewison knows all about the Academy Awards.
Here we are.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
The Canadian director's films have had 28 nominations and have won 11 Oscars.
Well, that's what America's about. It's about push. If you don't push, you don't get anywhere. It's about winning. That's what America's about. It's about winning. They don't lose here. They don't talk about losing. They don't like to lose. It's about, public relations and advertising agencies and marketing people of all the major studios and distributors are all have a big investment, because to win an Academy Award means that the film or the person's work is going to be rewarded not just with an Oscar, it's going to be rewarded by some money at the box office. So that's what it's all about.
Jewison's been doing his part to talk up Arcand's film to members of the Academy.
That's right. He's a talented filmmaker and a brilliant writer, and he wrote and directed, I think, his best film.
In the mecca of the movie industry, there's promotion and Oscar hype everywhere you look. Dade Hayes is the assistant managing editor of Variety, Hollywood's entertainment Bible. He says the run-up to the Oscars is a lot like a political foot race.
Well, they have to be out there with the film, wherever that might take them, to a party, to another premiere for another. It's all about piggybacking on whatever's going on. So it might be a DVD release, it might be a new premiere of the film, a festival, that kind of thing. Interviews. Availability is good, accessibility. There have been plenty of people nominated who just didn't really get out there and campaign, and were forgotten.
Now, what we need is this. The tent should come right up to this wall, because
Roz Wolfe is working hard to make sure nobody forgets Denny Arcand, but she has a problem. The Oscar party takes place poolside at the consulate residence, and the weather forecast is more rain. Denny Arcand is doing his part by making the rounds of festivals, interviews, and parties.
The rumor is it could go to the Oscars. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I never think in advance because...
He makes it look easy because he's been here before. This is his third Oscar nomination for Best Foreign Language Film. He got his first in 1987 for The Decline of the American Empire, a sophisticated look at a group of Quebec intellectuals with sex on their minds. His second nomination came in 1990 for Jesus of Montreal, a lyrical, mystical movie about a homeless man who assumes the role of the Messiah.
Problème de sommeil?
Comme un enfant.
Vous prescrivez des analgésiques. L'impression que ce n'est pas nécessaire?
Oubliez ça.
Arcand made the Barbarian Invasions in response to the death of his father. It's a mature and yet funny exploration of death and the power of friendship.
Merci infiniment, Dr. Dubé.
Moi, c'est pas le docteur Dubé.
Ah ben, ça tombe bien parce que je suis pas Monsieur Parenteau.
It was a major thing in my life, and it's a major thing in most people's lives. And this film is about that. It's about losing my father, that I still miss to this day. It's been 15 years, and I still miss him. So it's a major thing. So I made a film about that, and that everybody in the universe understands. And if you do it well enough, well, then it's going to be valid for absolutely everybody, from Inuits to people in South Africa or elsewhere, whatever.
Pas demain?
Non, on ne part pas. Je ne vais pas aux États-Unis. J'ai pas envie de mourir assassiné par des mahométans enragés.
Il est fou.
À l'époque, j'ai voté pour la nationalisation des hôpitaux. Je suis capable d'assumer les conséquences de mes actes.
Il y a juste les idiots qui changent pas d'opinion.
The main challenge was that I wanted to write about someone who's going to die, but yet at the same time I wanted to be a sort of celebration of life, something that would say, well, this man is dying, but his friend is going to live on. And even though he's going to die, just before that, he's going to, have this perfect meal in this perfect place, surrounded by people he loved. And I wanted to film the perfect death, the one I'm wishing on myself, to die in a beautiful place, surrounded by people you love, and with the possibility of saying, when you have enough, okay, I want to go tomorrow afternoon, and then it would be possible. And you'd have this gorgeous girl who would, give you the fatal injection. So that's what I shot, and obviously it won't happen that way, and I'll probably die alone in some dreary Quebec hospital. But I mean, movies are made to dream also.
Le César du meilleur réalisateur est attribué à Denis Arcand pour Les Invasions barbares.
The Barbarian Invasions has already racked up prestigious awards, from Cannes to Toronto, to Bangkok to Spain. Those accolades caught the attention of one of the most powerful men in the movie business. In L.A., one name is synonymous with Oscar hype: Harvey Weinstein, the chief of Miramax, the American distributor of the Barbarian Invasions. And he's thrown his weight behind the movie.
Thank God Denny Arcand happened to be distributed in America by Harvey Weinstein and Miramax, because once he smells a possibility of winning, Harvey is going to spend the bank to prove how smart he is, and he'll try to take all the credit for someone else's work, of course, in the meantime.
Dade Hayes knows how Miramax works.
They draw a lot of controversy because they campaign really hard, and that, you know, there's both good and maybe not so good about that. On the plus side, they're one of the more committed distributors to specialty film and to foreign language film. They really believe in it. When it comes to a film like Barbarian Invasions, they know what they're doing. They know the right people to call. They know the right sort of tone to set with a party or with a screening campaign. And it's paid off.
It's paid off to the tune of $25 million at the box office so far. This is the kind of success Hollywood understands. And expectations are putting a lot of pressure on Arcand.
I just hope that I'll be allowed to come back peacefully in Quebec, even if I don't win. And people are not too disappointed that I don't end up like the Brazilian soccer team, where when they don't win, they have to go through other countries and take a month off before coming home.
At the Kodak Theater in Hollywood, it's look, but don't touch. These statuettes are ready to be handed out on Sunday night. All that's missing are the names of the winners. Denny Arcand's name engraved on an Oscar would be a plum for Telefilm Canada.
The Oscars are the biggest, most prestigious, and most important film prizes in the world. Well, what it means is that suddenly people recognize the fact that what's happening in Canada right now is that we are creating a world-class, enormously successful, prize-winning cinema.
Richard Stursberg is the director of Telefilm, which invested $2.5 million in the Barbarian Invasions.
So it's enormously helpful to the industry as a whole in terms of its international validation. And dare I say it, but for Canadians, it's also a validation. It also says to them, what's being made now is very important, and encourages them to go and see the film as well. The greatest defense for feature film funding in this country is success. And by that I mean that you make films and you finance films, that we finance films that find favor with audiences, with Canadian audiences, that win big prizes internationally. That's all we can do. And if we do that, I'm convinced the government will continue to invest in the feature film business.
Telefilm expects to recoup its investment in the Barbarian Invasions, and an Academy Award will only increase the movie's box office appeal. For Arcand, it's the nomination for Best Original Screenplay that means the most, because it was voted on by his peers.
Oh, this time I'm just enjoying it because I have less at stake than before. When you're 40 or 45, you still have half your life in front of you, and success is somewhat important. In the sense that, you know, if the film that I did in '86, Declining the American Empire, if that hadn't been a success, I was condemned to television hell for the rest of my life, you know, doing miniseries or whatnot. Worse, daytime TV or stuff like that. And because it was a success, it really, truly changed my life. Nowadays, you know, I'm going to be 63 in June. It won't change a lot. I mean, medals or trophies or whatever won't change that many things. I'm not going to go to Hollywood and direct the next J-Lo picture. I mean, nobody's going to ask me. So, and I wouldn't want to. So it won't change a lot. So I'm just enjoying it. I think it's fun. It's great.
The day has arrived. The tent is up, but the sun is shining. It's time for speeches and toasts and movie talk. The guests, nominees, their friends and family are starting to arrive. Veterans of Canada's film industry, Canadians who live and work in Hollywood, they're here to support the nominees. It's all going according to Roz Wolf's plan.
Welcome. And we're just going to ask you to get your name tag and make yourself at home.
How are you?
And finally, Denis Arcand and his wife and producer, Denise Robert, straight from the airport, on the last leg of an exhilarating and exhausting journey that started a month ago.
Today, of course, we honor the Canadians nominated for the Academy Awards, the Oscars.
Hoping they've done what it takes to win.
There's no secret, there's no number you can spend, there's no magic portal you can walk through or sort of catchphrase you can utter that will, let you into that club. True, you have to spend money, you have to be willing to commit resources and time and energy to this race, and it's a long slog, but there's no real magic formula.
Denis Arcand says this is the last time he'll spend so much time and effort promoting a movie. The last time he'll work so hard to try to win an Oscar. He'll find out on Sunday if it's all paid off. For The National, I'm Sandra Abma.